Hi, welcome back to my garden. I have a few different projects I'm working on today. The first one is I have a bunch of peas that I need to sow, and I've actually had them for a little while, and it's getting kind of late, so I want to put them in. So from what I read, those ones you're supposed to put in the ground like while it's still cold out, but as soon as the ground's workable. Where we live, the ground doesn't really freeze, so I feel like it's workable most of the time. So I figured kind of end of winter would be a good time to put them in. So yeah, I'll be sowing some peas, and then I also have some seedlings that need to be up potted. So I have arugula, spinach, and dusty miller, all of which are a little bit cramped in their little cells. So I'll be up potting those, and then where I sowed them, like maybe a little bit too thickly, in some cells there's like 2 or maybe even 3 plants. So I'll see if I can divide those as well and end up with more plants. So yeah, I'll start with the peas and we'll take it from there. Next, I have these shelling peas. They're Alaska variety, and these ones it says to sow thickly. So it says to do them in like rows that are about a foot apart, and they want to be close together. It says like 1 to 3 inches. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm not sure how many there are, but I think I can comfortably do 2 rows over here. So I think what I'm going to do is make like a little trench, and I'll use this guy as a guide. So I'll just like go all the way across. It says to sow them about 1 inch deep, but depending on when you're sowing them, if you're sowing them later in the season, they might want to be 2 inches deep. I assume that for us, because our springs are fairly wet, I don't think they need to be too deep because I don't think they'll want to get soggy. Okay, so that's about 1 inch deep. Sweet, we might even get 3 rows. And then yeah, I'm gonna go for like a few inches apart. So we'll see how that goes. And it's not gonna be the most even sowing. Okay, I think I might even get like 3 or 4 rows. We'll see. Okay. So those ones are in. So I'll move this guy about a foot down and just close these back in. And I will come and label. This still has the beet label from before, so I'll bring out a fresh label so I don't accidentally try to plant something else. But I have a feeling that these ones are going to germinate pretty quickly. All right. So I'll do another row here. I have a feeling that you plant them closer together so that they can help hold each other up as well, maybe. These ones don't grow super tall, but it did say that staking is recommended, so I will likely do that. And hopefully not once it's too late. Okay, I guess one more row here. I might even try to squeeze one in at the very end. We'll see. And I have a feeling that I'm doing these like a little bit late for us. But we'll see. Hopefully he'll still work. These ones you can harvest like for peas, like green peas, or you can let them mature longer and then harvest them for peas to use for like soup, or you can have them kind of younger so that they're like snap peas. So it's cool to have options. And depending on what the real estate situation is for the vegetable bed, if I'm like backlogged on a bunch of things that I want to plant out, then I may end up just like harvesting everything at the same time, and then just like, you know, having the young ones as sweet peas, or not sweet peas, snap peas. Sweet peas are poisonous. Having the young ones as snap peas, and then like the rest in whatever stage they're in. Okay, so I even have some left over. So I'll see, I may end up doing a few more rows somewhere else, or maybe I'll stagger them a little bit. These ones like a cool spring, which generally we have, but the last few years that has not been the case. So we'll see, depending on how it goes. If it ends up being cool, I can always sow a few more kind of between the carrots and the garlic. The garlic's looking amazing right now. There's a bunch of new growth. So I'm really excited to see that. So I'm back outside and I have a few different trays ready with soil. So for the lettuce and arugula, because they're already outside, I didn't worry about kind of making it too rich for them. So I used mostly just like an all-purpose mix. And then I also put a little bit of seed starter, maybe 1 part to 4 parts, just to weaken it slightly. And then for the Dusty Miller, because they're still inside, I don't want it as rich. And also because these are like, I think they're Mediterranean climate plants, so I think they like it a little bit drier. So I did roughly 1 part all-purpose, and then 1 or 2 parts seed starter, 1 or 2 parts straight pumice. So it's like a lot grittier and it'll definitely dry out a little faster. So basically I have this little like stick, which is a piece of an apple twig that I pruned recently. So I'll just make like a little bit of a well, and I didn't pack it down or anything. I wanted it to be pretty fluffy, and then I can kind of pack it around the plant after. So hopefully that shows up on the camera, but it has some nice roots there. So make some room for it and then gently put it in, and then I'll kind of press that down around it a little bit. So the soil is already pre-moistened. These guys don't like their leaves wet, so I'm just gonna like water it from like the tray, and that's what I've been doing this whole time. But yeah, I'm not gonna like water them in now. I'll just like let it soak up. Yeah, so make the hole. I wanted to get this big one out because I thought it would have some nice visible roots. If I'm gonna give it an extra little tug, I'll use one of the base leaves and not the stem. Try to keep that all intact. Okay, I'll see if I can bring it up to the camera. Okay, see, lots of roots. Gently place it in, and then make sure there's good contact around the root ball. That's what I always hear. Sweet, so I'm basically gonna do that to all of them. Any of the ones that have 2 together, I'm gonna just try to like tease them apart. And if it doesn't work, I'll just plant them together. Yeah, I feel like maybe I left it too long. Let me see what happens if I try to part these. Okay, like that still worked, so that's good to know. Gently lower that guy in there. Like, I feel like, yeah, that was a little bit more intense for it, but I have a feeling that these guys will recover pretty easily. I'm gonna do the rest of this tray and then I'll check back in. All right, so that's all done now. I ended up with 48 plants, which is amazing. I have another 24 cells that I'm gonna leave empty because I'm sure I'll be potting up some other stuff soon. So we'll see whatever it ends up being. If it's compatible with these guys, then I'll just put them in here. And now I'll move over to the lettuce, and I'm basically just doing the exact same thing. So I'll just like make the little holes and then start transferring them over. Alright, so I'm back in the greenhouse. My camera actually died while I was time-lapsing the lettuce, but I think I got to film most of it. So these are all the little lettuces that I ended up with. And so there's 36 in this tray, and then I have 12 more in the other tray. So I have the other 12 that I put over here, and then I have 24 of the arugulas. So my thought was give them a little time, let them fill in their new cells, and then I might take them out like either 6 or 12 at a time and plant them in the vegetable beds, like when the time comes. And then that way I'm not doing them all at once. So if it's cold and some of them like suffer a little bit, or if it gets hot and some of them want to bolt, maybe I can like manage it a little bit so that I can have lettuce for like a longer period of time. Yeah, so last year we ended up buying lettuce. We didn't sow it, but we put like 20 plants in the beds. So for like a month or two, there was just like a ton of lettuce, and then it kind of all bolted at the same time. So then there was like no lettuce. So I wanted to try to stagger it a little bit. So I think I'll take like 1 or 2 6-packs at a time, put them in the veggie beds, let them like grow, eat them, and then kind of replenish them with some more that we'll kind of have waiting in the sidelines. And then I might do something similar with the arugula. We'll see, maybe I'll do half of it kind of in a week, and then the other half when we've worked our way through that, or when it's starting to look maybe not as good or something. But yeah, anyway, that's the little like up potting project. I'll keep you posted on the peas as well. For the Dusty Miller, it's inside the house. And I ended up with so much of it. I think it was 48 plants. So I put a tray of 36 in the house where it had been. And then I put the extra ones in the garage, which is like a little less heated. And I just thought I would like see what happens, because it's hardy where we live. So like adult plants can survive our winters. So anyway, we'll see how that goes, but I may have to up pot it once more, because I think I won't want to plant it out until like all danger of frost is past, like just to be safe, but maybe I'll start experimenting sooner. Yeah, anyway, thanks for coming along for today, and I'll catch you next time.